Well, good morning, everybody. I was here bright and early this morning trying to get the loader started. I got it fired up. It just had some air in the system after I changed the filters and everything, I guess, because it wouldn't hit a lick. So, but I got her going. Today, kind of what we've got going on, we've been saving this area over here pretty much from the edge of the back dump all the way down through there. We stopped our fill somewhere right in there. We got to undercut all of this where the fuel trailer's sitting and everything. There's still 3 or 4 feet probably of just terrible dirt right here. We got to undercut it and get ready to haul in some red dirt. I think he's decided he's either going to buy the dirt from somewhere or he's going to pay us to haul it out, dig it out and haul it over here. So let me get this fuel trailer moved here, and we're going to set in and undercut all this morning, and we're just going to stockpile it on the pad for him. He wants to keep the dirt for some reason, but as soon as I get all this moved, I'll turn the camera on when we start undercutting this. So, good morning, everybody. We're trying to get our bearings this morning. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty down here. We got to cut out the rest of this lower area for this parking lot. Truck driver's up there doing something, so I'm gonna fix me a little flat spot here where I ain't sitting some cockeyed. But we've got everything on grade, just about up top. Had a little meeting this morning with the owners trying to figure out what we're going to do. I think we've got everything lined up the way we need it. Not 100% sure yet, but as you guys can see how nasty this is down here. I'm going to have to get into some of this rock. But it's still really soft down here. I'm gonna try, and I'm not, get into that rock. Probably shouldn't. Let me see if I can push this rock back a little bit with the bucket here. But oh lordy, still pretty soft down there. But as you guys can kind of see, this is what we got going on. We're just trying to get our rest of our parking lot undercut. Got a blue line coming up through here. We're just for some reason he hasn't got us any grade stakes yet, so we've been measuring off, edge of the sidewalk out there and so on and so forth, trying to get it where we need it. But there's the bottom. Figure out what the hell he's doing. What are you doing up there? Yeah, waiting on you. He looks down here like he's like, oh, you waiting on me? Yeah, I'm waiting on you. Come on down here. But we've got quite a bit of muck to dig out down here again. We got up halfway decent, where we were at least out of the water. Felt good about it. Stopped filling it with shot rock. So we shall see, but we're going, at the owner's request, we're going to take and dig all this out and stockpile it up there for him for reasons unknown. And Kind of pretty to pile up, make it look nice. That's all I really know. Come on back. Keep on coming. But as y'all can see, this is pretty nasty material. It's down here in this bottom, so everybody knows. If you watched any of the previous videos, everybody knows what's down here. But basically, what I'm doing here is just undercutting this, getting it back down to that hard clay layer, and then we'll start coming up with good red dirt whenever whenever he makes up his mind what he wants to do. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have us haul this traco to a dirt pit and load 6 or 7 on-road trucks and have them haul over here. I don't know why he wants to keep this dirt. It's terrible dirt. We'll try and topsoil back with this stuff. It don't make much sense to me. Cedar stumps and roots. I need to dig that bed of that truck out. It should not be full already. But that's what he wants, so that's what he's going to get. Not too worried about some of the rock riprap getting in there, because he's already got to pick out all these roots and junk. You know, if he elects to use this dirt, which I have no idea why he would want to do that. I've got to get over here somewhere. Find the edge of this rock and find the edge of our fill. I think that's it right there. But that's just what you do. Everybody thinks when you're self-employed and you're running your own business and everything that you're your own boss and you do whatever you want, but you go from having a permanent boss to just getting a new boss every job. When you're working for somebody, they're paying your salary. You listen to them all day long, and you've got one boss, and that's the way that is. But when you're self-employed and you working for a different customer, sometimes every month, every week, every day, for some people, you've got a new boss every day, and that's just the way that is. So anyway, to find that daggum rock, I think it's right there. Yeah. Have a little dirt in it, but it won't be anything detrimental. The biggest important. Oh yeah, he asked me to turn around. The biggest thing's finding the edge of that rock. Make sure there's not a seam, a nasty spot in between your fill and that rock. So I think I've found a pretty good spot there. That rock will end here in just a second. I can't remember exactly how far because we filled over it with dirt. Good red clay. Oh Lordy. But yeah, guys, I mean, this is kind of what we got. It's nothing too crazy. We're just undercutting this. So essentially, this comes right up through here like this, and then cuts on a 90 all the way out to there. So everything from there back, and then the detention ponds, all of this down in here. I'm not exactly sure the grades on the detention pond yet. I know we're going to have to cut some out, but we're just going to do that last order of business. I'm going to scratch him out a little bit. So he's carrying around a half load of dirt with him. Sorry, dude. There's so many ridges and like weld seams and just different things you can hang your teeth on there in that bed of that truck. I mean, I just hit the rail with the bucket there. That was my fault, but you got to be gentle with it sometimes, because you'll hang a dang weld seam or something in there you shouldn't be prying on with a Traco tooth. It won't end up very good. Oh, big old stump right there. This place has just been littered with stumps. That tree guy, I mean, he did what he was supposed to do. He came in here and got the logs out of it, ground the tops up, hauled all the chips off, but we left all these stumps underneath the surface. Left all the tap roots and everything like that. So that's why I'm still questioning a little bit why he's keeping this dirt, because he's going to have an unbelievable amount of labor in this, getting all the junk out of it if he's topsoiling things back with it. But that's what the man wants, so that's what he's going to get. It goes back to that, like I was saying before, you're self-employed, yes, but you just end up getting a new boss. Whoever's paying you to do the job, that's your boss. You do what they want. So that's the way I look at it anyway. For those of you that aren't in this industry and don't really understand how this stuff works, what I'm doing here is called undercutting. And essentially what this is if you were to take and start filling, red dirt on top of this nasty, rotten material, eventually what would happen is it would start, due to the weight of trucks and traffic and everything over, eventually your dirt would settle, for one, your parking lot would crack, and two, it would start pumping. And what that means is essentially you put a layer of red dirt, good fill material, over the top of a layer of this bad dirt. They'll actually, what'll happen is they'll actually end up switching places. So the mud and the junk will pump up through the red dirt, and the red dirt will actually go through the mud, and the mud will come up. Basically the same thing with rock. Like if if you just put a bunch of rock on top of a bunch of mud, that mud will make its way to the top, and the rock will go, down in the ground, and you just wasted, however many loads of rock. So that's why it's important to undercut things like this, because you'll just end up with a mess and waste material if you don't get all this junk out of here. Drive on out here and clean this corner up just a little better. Kind of goes this way for anything in life. You got to have a good foundation no matter what you do. Can't do anything with a bad foundation, and that speaks volumes for just about anything you do in life. You gotta have a good foundation no matter what you do. So, break all this loose stuff off the top of the ground here. Kind of try and pretty this up a little bit down here. Red dirt, if I remember correctly, it starts coming up the hill pretty quick here. It's just down here in this bottom that everything, all your sediment and everything washes down here over time. So naturally you're going to have more bad material down in your lower areas. Like I found the edge of my rock again. That's kind of what I was hunting for. Right there. Like I said, I'm not too worried about getting a little bit of rock in this dirt right here I'm saving. Just want to make sure I get back to that good clean line there, good margins. Kind of like performing surgery, you gotta get back into the. I didn't realize that the rock came out this far. guys, this is pretty much it. I'm gonna finish getting this cut out, and I'm probably cut the camera back on here in a little while for you. It's just loading and hauling. That's all we really got here. It's a really short haul, but it was easier to do it with this Traco with back dump than the loader, because I can kind of clean the edge of my rock off, and then, you know, make sure I'm getting back to where I need to be. And sometimes it's a little difficult to do finer things like that with the loader, so it's working out good. But I'll finish loading this truck here, and then we'll cut this camera off and boogie down here. Folks, I'm gonna cut this camera off, and I will see you guys here in a minute when I kind of get this dug out a little more. Alright folks, we've made our way up the hill here. Pretty good little ways. This material's, it's just 3 or 4 foot deep. It's about pretty consistent everywhere on the property. Nastiness. We're just going to stockpile it for him up there on top in the parking lot, and he can do with it as he pleases, I guess. I think it's very stupid to keep this material, but that's what he wants. But I've basically been just digging up the side of our fill there, our fill line, getting back over to, you know, where we started compacting, and just kind of sloping it down a little bit where we can tie that seam back in. It's starting to get a little better here up on top, but it's still about a foot or so. 1.5 foot, 2 foot in most places. 3 foot, 4 foot down there at the bottom. But what can you do? You gotta dig it out. It's somewhat dry, so I mean, that's a bonus, I guess. You can actually do a little something with it if it's dry. Most of the time it's so daggum wet, can't do anything with it, so it's not horrible, but definitely don't want to build with it. Definitely don't want to fill over the top of it. Maybe the bank. Ah, shoot, I forgot to call that Gulf Coast Bank down there. Get them to release that. Whatever it was, I don't know. She told me about it. I can't remember what it is, but I meant to call down there and see what in the world was going on with that, but I'll have to call her in here in a minute. See what exactly it is that I have to do, because I already forgot. just greased this thing this morning, and I still have something that's squawking. I can't. I don't understand. I don't understand what's this squawking still. Pump some more grease in it, I guess, and see if it fixes its problem. I don't know. I think I got the loader sorted out. All this freaking dirt. This is so stupid. That's probably 30. That's probably 30 triaxle loads laying up there in that parking lot now. I do not understand. I get one to save money, but cost himself money having to haul that shit back out of here. Just paying us to stockpile it up there. And he's going to turn around and have to pay somebody to haul it out. I gotta try and scratch this. Oh boy. Yeah. Try and take and dig all that out of the front of the truck and pull it back here. Maybe that got it. Yeah, I don't understand. I can't make it make sense why anybody want to keep this. I mean, look at that. No root balls, I'm telling you, they're hard to dig out of the ground without a tree attached to them. Take the bulldozer and kind of clip that down through there and probably gather up all the spoils of that loader and carry them up there and kind of clip that certainly are, but can't ever be too careful, I guess. Alright guys, we'll finish getting this cut out and I'll get back with you when we get it all dug out. this slope in with this dozer. It's a bit of a mess. Big old stump right here that had to get dug out, so we've got a low spot. Better to just dig the damn stumps, but you know, when you grind them off top of the ground and make it look like shit, you know, this is what you get. But whatever, this is what we got to work with, so this is what we're going to do. Try to fix a nice slope, you know, and it's chock full of just junk, stumps, roots. I'm gonna do the best I can with it. That's all I can do. Oh, that's wonderful. Another stump. Push all this over here in the corner with the loader and dig it out. This over here truly is junk. It's nasty. at this house one more time. Got all the, got a guy, you guys probably can't see it, but there's a guide wire up above me here. The neighbor's actually infringing on this property, so we're having to deal with her. I'm gonna put the top of this slope right up against that camera, that freaking smoker. I don't care. She's been told to get her damn smoker off the property and she won't do it. If it was my property, I'd have her trespassed. You're either gonna get that off my property or I'm gonna remove it off my property. You know? They say that woman's the devil damn near. She's all the time calling in on people raising hell about just the smallest inconvenience, you know. So she's not very liked. Which I can see that. I've met her one time and I already don't like her, so. What can you do? Let's see here. I'm just going to leave that for now. This material's just impossible to work with. I mean, it's just fucking impossible to get a damn stump like this. You can't do nothing with it. Try to push it down here in this low spot and bury over the top of it. Tree needs to leave, honestly. It's really in the way. But we'll try to leave it as long as we can, but I'm thinking this one will have to go. I could be wrong, but pretty sure I'm right. This dang stump rolled over here on the neighbor. I'm going to try and get it, gather it back up, back across on our side of the property. customers are all bent out of shape about dirt. We're trying to help them out every way we can. And I knew better than to put this nasty shit here in this slope, because I knew exactly what it was going to do. I'll just work them stumps down there to the bottom and get them on the track over on. They're not really stumps, they're just root balls. Through here trying to blade this off one more time, and I'll end up flicking another stump out of the ground. Alright folks, I'm going to turn this camera off. This is kind of going to be a slow process here, so I'll show you guys kind of the end result here.